Our next guest is the founder of militarymutual.org. Please welcome back to the show, Derek Barksdale, and his special guest, licensed counselor, Sheila Henry.
All right, welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. LT,
Hey,
back in the house.
I'm glad to be here.
It's a good-looking vest, my friend.
Hey, thank you. I love the tie.
Looking sharp. Now, you wanted to bring Sheila on today. Licensed counselor, focusing on, for the most part, PTSD and people who have PTSD. Tell us why.
Well, first and foremost, I'd like to say that amongst all of the phenomenal guests that I've had the privilege of bringing on the show and having a good relationship with, to really do some outstanding work, that Sheila, without question, is the one who's impacted my life, and not only my life, my family's life, in a way that, you know, no one else ever has. And with that being said, that's not to take away from the work that we're doing with the other guests, such as James or Donna, who've come on board the show, but really just to show as a personal testimony how PTSD and other cognitive disorders that affect our veterans and their families every day really impact people, and it impacts people so much that it impacted my life. So with that being said, I wanted to bring on Sheila to be able to speak to some of the problems that people may be faced with every day in their lives, and really how her, combined with the other people that Military Mutual and Warrior Home are coming together to try to help people in a whole, and not just buy them a house or to fix their home, or like James does with providing employment opportunities, but Sheila's going to be the glue to tie it all together with ensuring that their lives are something that they can maintain and continue on and live a good, fruitful life for the future. So I'm really excited about today.
That's great stuff, and I don't know if everyone remembers, but Mr. Barksdale, 21-year veteran, United States Navy lieutenant. So you've seen a lot. I mean, in that time frame, there was a lot that went on in the military, and you were a part of all that. Sheila, thank you so much for being here today.
Oh.
This is a hot topic, of course, because we have so many people in the military here in San Diego, and it's become something that's not hush-hush anymore. People are finally starting to talk about it.
Right, it's out in the open.
Yeah, which is a good thing, right?
I know.
So is this something that is just for people in the military that get PTSD? Is this something that is more widespread than that? Tell us what you know.
Actually, it's more widespread than that. What PTSD is, when somebody is actually trapped in a situation where they can't escape, they can't flee, they can't fight, and so they're frozen, and they're in terror that their life or their integrity, their body is in danger. And when this happens, it is so terrifying that sometimes some people, not everybody exposed to these situations, but some people actually have this memory frozen in a different way in their brain, so that they can be triggered later by noise, smell, sound, a picture. However, they don't remember it the way you and I might remember a special memory. You know, if I was to ask you what you had for dinner last night, you could just remember it, but you're not at dinner.
Right.
You would remember it. But somebody who has PTSD is back in that situation. Let me give you an example.
Okay.
There was a veteran I was talking to, and he said, I went into this restaurant, and when I went in this restaurant, I ordered my dinner, and all of a sudden there was a loud crash. A busboy had dropped some dishes. I dove under the table. I was terrified. And when I came to, I was so embarrassed, I just left the restaurant.
Interesting.
Yeah, that veteran didn't just remember an incident, he was actually there.
Yeah. So it's not just a memory.
No,
then,
it's
is
a
what you're
special
saying.
type of memory, which is very different.
And so
and
he just sort of reacts, subconscious.
He reacts before he can think about it, because we just have to react quickly when our life is in danger.
This is something that happens to a lot of people.
Yes.
In fact, it's a normal reaction to like an unhealthy situation, right?
Yes, that's right.
So it's a healthy reaction to an unhealthy situation.
Well, I don't know that it's healthy quite,
Okay.
but it's
Normal.
It's a normal reaction. Let's say somebody was raped, they're in terror for their life. A child who sees domestic violence, he sees his father beating his mother. He's so young he can't help his mother. Somebody who's a victim of domestic violence. Somebody who just sees some violence. Or maybe a soldier who's killed another soldier and he's learned you don't kill another human being. Or a soldier who sees his best buddy blown up. These are just instances when people can get PTSD.
And this happens a lot in war. I mean, that's
Yes.
what it is. The things you're listing are the things that take place.
Right.
So when someone has experienced that and they come back here and everything's supposedly fine, but then they have an incident where they realize, okay, things aren't back to
Right.
normal yet, what should they do? What's the first thing that they should start to do to help themselves out of that trap?
Okay, hopefully they will go in for some counseling. When they go in for counseling, we can work with them to help them heal. But actually there's more than just being back in the situations. They may get nightmares, they don't react normally to people, they feel isolated and alone, and they're in so much pain that they sometimes self-medicate with drugs and alcohol. And then with veterans, a lot of them have committed suicide.
That continues to be an epidemic.
Yes.
That is taking place right now that should be talked about a lot more.
Yes. And that's why if somebody can get into counseling, that can help a lot.
Can everyone benefit from doing something like that, going to counseling?
Yes. There is a reluctance on the part of some veterans to get into counseling. And because PTSD is so traumatic, it is frozen in the body as well as the mind. So talk therapy just may not be as effective as working with somebody through psychology or medicine and energy medicine.
Interesting. LT, can you speak to that real quick for veterans who maybe are reluctant to get counseling, what some of those reasons are and what allowed you to be brave enough to do so?
Sure. Well, being diagnosed with PTSD myself while on active duty, I spoke about it before, and it was one of those things where you feel as if you're not being a man in a way by saying that you have something wrong with you. And in the military, they've done so much more over the recent years to make sure that people are treated well and that nothing's taken lightly. But I remember specific terms that when people would go in and say that they had some issues going on, they'd say, oh, he's playing the crazy card or something along those lines. But now there's a lot more sensitivity to it, and Sheila has helped with different things like tapping, EMDR, which are very good methods that really help out. That a lot of the old ways of doing business, which is exposure therapy, are not the best ways for everyone to have things taken care of. So I could speak to it directly because she's helped in that particular situation.
Okay, fantastic. I think that's what we should really do is encourage people.
Sure.
You know, if you're experiencing these symptoms, then reach out and get some help, because there is a better way. There is light at the end of the tunnel. You can get to the other side of this thing, and just like all the other battles that you've had to fight, it may not be easy, but you can't do it alone.
The thing about the EFT, emotional freedom techniques, or tapping, is that it lowers the cortisol or stress levels in the body. And when these stress levels are lowered, people can begin to get help. And with these techniques, you don't have to feel the pain of just talking like you do with exposure therapy. We neutralize the pain. I tell people you don't have to feel the pain. And that's why I'm so passionate about this kind of tapping, because it does help people and they are able to heal.
And that's huge.
And live, they live a normal life again.
Fantastic.
Go after their goals.
That is great stuff. I really appreciate you taking the time to come share it with us today, Sheila, and all the great work you're doing in the community. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it, Mr. Barksdale, as always. Appreciate your time. Thank you so much for bringing this to our attention, my friend.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
And Sheila.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you both for being here. Stick around for more Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else, commercial free.